Welcome to MadTakeTV. I am Jeremy, the face you will see when you tune into this channel. Joining me right here is Dre for
What up?
the 2-episode premiere of Daredevil Born Again. Back for the first time in how many years on Disney Plus for a new season. So is
75
this
years.
season 1 or is this season 4? I wasn't really sure how to refer to it when I was like giving the... Was it season 3 or I'm sorry, how many seasons did the original have? Was it 2 or 3? I cannot remember.
I got disinterested after the second season, so I can't be a reliable source on
Okay.
that.
It was either
I
2 or
watched
3
the whole
seasons.
thing, but I don't remember.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember whether it was 2 or 3. I think it might just be 2. Anyway, so I just call it Daredevil Born Again season 1
Okay.
because it's basically a brand new show, even though it is a continuation of the old show. You know, new owners, new management, under new management. So from what I understand, though, this show went through a little bit of a rewrite while they were in the middle of it. A story I heard was that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio went to the showrunners and were like, listen, man, this isn't working. We were in the show, we did the episodes or whatever. This is what worked about that show, and we don't have it here. We need to change it. So they went
they
back.
wrote She-Hulk out.
I don't know about all that, but that was the consensus I got, was that they had a hand. I heard him in more than one interview too talking about this, that they went and were like, no, listen, like this we're not capturing what was great about the Netflix show. What you're trying to do it Born Again, you're trying to revive it, you're gonna miss because you're not gonna capture what was good about, the original series.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad they did. I mean, to be fair, I don't know what the original looked like, but
Well,
I'm
this show
satisfied with
definitely has a better. I'm
it.
satisfied too. This show has a cleaner look, obviously, with the Disney makeover. But like, I think they nailed the look and feel of it. I believe there was. I mean, the first few minutes, I was like, all right, yeah, this is definitely a Daredevil show. But let's
I
get
think
into it, though.
keeping the same actors helps with the familiarity and
In that,
you
that
know,
was the huge difference. Was the only 2 cast members that first came over were Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. They were not planning on having any returning cast members, even Deborah Ann Wool and the dude who plays Foggy. I don't know his name.
hey, listen, folks at Disney, big studios, any studios, whatever. If you got an opportunity to hire Deborah Ann Wall, just go ahead and do it.
She's
That
she's yeah, she's cool, and she's a nerd too. She plays Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, so
she could have
she's
played. She could have played sacrifice the goat. I wouldn't care.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
continue.
yeah. So yeah, we open up with that original cast that we're referring to. It's a good segue. We open up into the original cast coming out of their law firm, basically their storefront that they ended up with in the very end of the last season of Daredevil. It was Murdoch, Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige. And that's the sign. You can
Right.
see it hanging above the door. So they come there and they go to the bar they always go to. They go to Josie's bar. And seems like it's like a retirement party for looks like an old cop. So the bar is full of cops. Josie says that, and she says the episode title right here. So she gives Cherry a toast or whatever. Cherry is the dude's name. And she says, "May you be in heaven a full half hour before the devil knows you're dead." And everybody cheers. And everybody seems happy here. It's like this seems like a content thing. Do you know what? Like, I knew it too. Like, right as soon as I saw the 3 characters walk out of the door, the very opening sequence, I was like, nope, some bad gonna happen. Some bad gonna happen. This is too nice. So anyway, yeah, they're having their little party. There's some flirting going on with Karen and Matt, and she asked him to change his glasses. She's like, they're kind of dated. I thought right here when they visualized Matt's powers, like Foggy gets up and walks out, and they visualized Matt's powers here with like a camera change and like an audio change, which I think was something new. They did visualize his powers in the I say powers, but you know what I mean. The his abilities in the old show, but not in this cool of a way. It was a really good visual representation of super hearing, you know. And he picks up the
Yeah, I liked it. I like that he was able to they without spelling it out as always, which is always better for me. I don't know, some viewers like different shit, but I really like for you to just show me I can comprehend and them
trust your audience.
isolating it. Okay, he's not only able to hear everything, he's able to control what he hears. So they might not want to call it that, but I would qualify that as a power. If I had the
Yeah.
power to ignore things,
Well,
Jesus.
it's definitely a power, and we see that later on in the second episode. We see him use this way more of an advantage, and it's pretty insane. But so yeah, at this point we see Bullseye kill a fly with a paperclip, which he did something similar in the first season, or he just anything this dude could pick up, he could throw and kill you with it. It's crazy. So his power is pretty wild too, and always Daredevil's arch enemy. Kingpin is too, but like the brutal fight is always with fucking Bullseye.
Yeah, Bullseye came in on straight bullshit. Just he came in, he was all business,
So he set a
he was
trap.
no wasted motion.
No, he set a trap. So he called. Foggy had somebody held up in his apartment, and this dude called Foggy and was like, he's coming, I hear him. So, of course, Daredevil runs off after him. And Foggy said to him, he's like, man, I didn't tell you because I didn't want to give you an excuse. And so of course, he runs off, which is exactly what he wanted to happen. Bullseye. And then the shit just hits the fan, dude. Foggy gets immediately shot in the chest. 2 cops run out of the bar and immediately get their brains blown out. And then
Yeah,
Karen is just fishing for the weapon that she carries, her pistol, which, I mean, really good luck. Like, this dude, if, like, he hasn't shot you yet because he didn't want to.
he didn't want to shoot you.
Not yet.
Here's the thing, because you kind of sped through that, but
I'm
even
sorry.
though all
I'm
of
sorry.
this
Yeah, go
happens
back.
in the in the
Just start talking or tell me, but put your hand up. Let me know.
but all of this happens in the first 8-9 minutes of the episode.
I'm saying the first 3 minutes
Yeah,
I haven't really gone
it was
through.
pretty quick. You didn't
Yeah.
get, and here's what's dope about this, and I wanna shout them out for the pacing of this.
Yeah.
Even though this was really fast, the build up to it the build up somehow still was long enough to add tension to the scene, because what happened was Matt took off. He popped up on the roof, heroes pose, top of the roof. He's Daredevil again.
So okay, so yeah, I did. I skipped through some of this in my notes. So like, I don't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt you. Like, keep that thought. But like, I said the cool Daredevil shot, was that a recreation of like the Ben Affleck shot? It looked really familiar to
it
like the
looked
Ben
Affleck.
Affleck movie cover. But anyway, yeah,
It
go on.
looked
Continue.
Affleck.
Continue.
But it was dope because, first of all, you get no. It was kooky, but it was dope because you get no hint of a church in the background when you're at street level. Like
Right, but
they
there's
just like
always
walk
one.
around. They like
Just
drinking at
look up.
bars and shit. And then he was like, "Yeah, my house is right over there. It's like 3 seconds away." And then Matt jumped on the roof, and it's like the biggest church in the history of churches. It's
Yeah.
like right in the background. So I was like, that was all comic book shit.
Well, I
I
think that
love it.
church is actually like they obviously added that, but I think there is a church like the Doors. I think that is actually in New York.
Oh no,
Okay.
I wouldn't doubt it. They got churches like that in most major cities. But what I'm
Right.
saying is just like you don't even think about a church.
Right.
They could have easily did that same shot with just the background of the sky or a taller building back. They did the biggest, most ominous church in the backgrounds,
Right.
like Daredevil,
All
bitch. So
all the detail of the stained glass, you
right,
could see it.
you could
Yeah.
see, you saw like a priest in the back preparing a sermon and shit. But the dopeness about it was, so Matt goes in and he runs in the apartment and he's looking for action basically, and that's when he's told, basically, I'm sorry, he made me do it or whatever. The guy told him that he made me do it, and that's when Matt realized what was happening
Yep.
before it happened. That's what added the tension because it's like, oh shit, something going down. And my honest first thought was it's a trap just to get him here so he could attack him in the apartment. But I was not thinking that he was trying to isolate the other two so he can kill them.
I was just like,
That's
dude,
that's
go
just
back
crazy.
inside. Why are we standing out front? Go the fuck back in the building. Like, you could go back in. You could have just went back in with all the cops and all the people with guns. Not that they really would have helped you, but maybe you could have got away. You wouldn't have just got
You would have
straight
got
up
shot
shot in the
instead
first.
of first.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
Shout
So
out to
yeah,
Foggy.
dude,
Shout out to Foggy for blocking that bullet with his torso. A
for
lot of
for
people not
Karen.
capable of pulling that off, but he did it.
Right. Dude, so yeah, then Daredevil swings in right on time to save Karen, and they bash through a window. And like the fight is so cool because it's like one of those like continuous shots that just keeps backing up from it as they keep stepping forward to the camera. And dude, as they're fighting, like he's doing everything, like he's just trying to shoot other people and he's just throwing shit to throw Daredevil off as Daredevil's like just beating him down and shit like that. But he's fighting him, but at the same time he's throwing shit at other people that are in the thing, like the innocent bystanders. The pool balls, dude, that was brutal, man.
The thing I liked about it, what I said earlier, is like no wasted motion.
Right.
They were fighting, and they both were fighting, and they were fighting like they were hurt already. Like the crash through the windows, the initial injuries,
Yeah, well,
right
these
there.
aren't like they have abilities, but they don't have like they're
It,
not super strength,
right,
superpowers. Like
this is not
right,
Drax. You know what I'm saying? This is
right.
just two dudes that
But
just
it
happen to
just
be highly skilled.
and
But
this
this
is
some of
inside of this is
everything.
inside of 3 minutes, right? Everything we've
Yeah,
talked about has
this
happened
show
inside of the
just
first
started.
3 minutes of the episode. Yeah.
Show just started, but this
Right.
this son of a bitch is literally everything he touched. Kill shot, kill shot, kill shot. Then he just randomly peppering Daredevil
Throwing
with
them.
like daggers all through his body, just like over and over. He did
Dude,
that shit from the window all the way to the back of the bar, all the way up the stairs. Like
all the way up the stairs. He had was loaded with them, dude. Dude, he picked up the pool ball. The chick hit him with the pool cue. He threw it backwards at her, hit her right in the middle of the forehead. And then he took the other one and he bounced it, and it bounced around the room. And the way that chick shook after she hit the ground, dude, that was just. Dude, that little touch of shit like that, it gives the brutality to the show that you needed. The way like, and Daredevil just kind of like caught her like, you motherfucker, like, gee, what is happening right now? And dude, yeah, it was fucking insane. It was a good fight, really good fight. They go into the hallway. He kills two innocent bystanders in the apartment upstairs, just bringing in their groceries. It was it was brutal. Oh, dude. So did you notice too? And I saw this. I will admit, I did not catch this on my own. I saw this on one of the breakdowns that came on or something like that. Dude, in that hallway, he picks up one of the soup cans, dude, and he throws the soup can and hits the fucking dagger that's sticking out of the shoulder of Daredevil with the soup can. I was like, oh shit,
shit. Like, why are you doing
brutal.
this? This is
Why are
just
you doing
fucking.
this?
I didn't have to. So
Yeah. And the whole
so
time this is going
basically,
on, you hear, I'm sorry to interrupt you, you hear Daredevil listening to Foggy's heartbeat.
heartbeat, right? So Foggy is slowly dying. Karen is steady talking. You hear her saying that the ambulance will be here any minute now. Just hold on, stay awake. All this stuff that
Hmm.
you go through when people are dying in movies and TV shows. Um, Daredevil and Bullseye make it to the roof, and at that point, Foggy's heart stops. I'm fucked up because I'm like,
Like
part of the
right
reason I was
off the
excited for
bat.
the show to come back was the fact that they brought back Karen and Foggy. This is what
Yeah.
I wanted to see. I didn't want to see Daredevil with She-Hulk. That's why I made that joke earlier. It's like I didn't want them to have him have dope ass abilities and have a really goofy storyline. Daredevil can't be goofy. It can't. We
It's not
cannot.
in it's not
The story
innate to
doesn't
his
lend itself to
character.
being
Right.
funny. Right.
Spider-Man makes the quips and the goofballs. Like
Yeah.
Daredevil's super
And
serious,
Daredevil
which
can't even
that
really be in
first
a lot of
series
goofy situations. Because
that
even if you think back to the old Defender show, um, when he was in there with Danny Rand and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, they didn't have him as the comic relief. They were
no.
more impressed with the fact that he was blind, and that was supposed to be the comic relief. But
Right.
this guy's story is not a funny story. So
It's
I would,
not. And that first
Right. So I
series
wanted to see
did a really
Foggy and
good.
them, and they just took Foggy out of
It's
there.
right away.
Right in,
Yeah,
right in the jump. Like
they did
he
a
out
good
of there.
job in
No.
that first series of capturing that seriousness. It was not there was no comic relief in that fucking show, like basically at all. And I I don't mind a little bit of it coming from some of the other characters and stuff like that. But yeah, no, for the most part, Matt's a pretty brooding dude. Like
He's a
uh,
tortured soul, and he does not do
he is.
comedy.
No, and our, okay. So then he just fucking like after Foggy's heartbeat stops, he just screams, dude. He just grabs his bullseye and he just screams, "Why? Like why? Like," and then
Yeah.
just chucks
He
him.
he, gave, he gave him about a 40-piece combo to the throat,
Yep.
and then tossed him off the building to
Karen,
his apparent death.
of course not. Karen,
Yeah.
Karen. So, which I thought would have been cool actually, and I know that's part of the story going forward. But if they would have just like him and Foggy just done first episode, like those two returning characters are just ousted, and we're moving on to something else. But no, Bullseye's got to be alive. Like I said, he's the arch nemesis, and that dude who plays that character, Ben Poindexter. Yeah, hats off, dude kills that
No,
role.
he did it.
And
He did a good job. I
when she
enjoyed it.
when he hits the ground, dude, Karen is just like, because she's got her back to it, and she's just automatically, it's like, oh my god, that's Matt. I can't even look back to see if this is Matt or not. And like she finally turns around, and like the gasp of relief when she sees who it is again, all chef's kiss to the actors. They did a good job with this super intense fucking scene at the beginning of the show, like right off the bat.
Mm.
So, but I guess something like that had to happen for Daredevil to go away to then be born again, in a sense, you know.
This was his call to action. Although it didn't turn out that way because he still wasn't called to action, we then cut to what was it, a year later?
Yeah, he like drops the
And
mask off the building, kind of signifying the end of the Daredevil, you
yeah,
know, because
he
all the
done with his
tragedy.
bullshit.
Right.
I quit. He put his badge and his gun on the table and told the sergeant, told the captain to kiss his ass, and he's done. So we cut to a year later,
Mm-hmm.
and Matt is working at he's working with a different law firm now with the young lady that was in the first scene
Yeah,
at the bar.
her name is Kirsten.
Okay, and
She
they're
was a
working
DA.
together, and honestly, after that first, I cannot remember what happened after that. I know they were working together, but I was still stuck on the fact that Foggy was dead.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Like I got, like I said, so he was in it. Matt was in his new apartment. You see the new apartment, and then it kind of cuts to it's going back and forth between him and the Kingpin. So the Kingpin opens up, and another eating scene. He was like always like having a meal in the other series. So it's classic that they opened it up with him, but the way they flipped the camera upside down, excuse me, with him with the city behind him was a cool shot. And you'll have to forgive me, I did not watch Echo, so I
Basically, Echo, his niece, was the handy capable superhero who was featured in
Hawkeye.
the Hawkeye series.
Mm-hmm.
And the gist of the show is this: Echo was his niece, blah blah blah. He tried to recruit her, and she found out he was the one who actually killed her father, some such. Forgive me, audience. I, like most people, didn't watch it, so you just got to take my word for it. But
Well, she shot him in the face at the end of Hawkeye, right?
she shot him in the face on Hawkeye,
Right.
but on the Echo show, for some reason her character just developed powers, and then her powers were able to be shared with just regular people around her, and they all had powers of some goofy such shit. I saw it. Here, shout out to
I,
the Latin community. I need to ask y'all if this is a thing. If you can, if we happen to have any Latinx, Chicano, anybody who watches these videos, comment if this is part of Latin culture. I've noticed it with 3 different heroes in Marvel now. Um,
I thought she was Native
the
American.
the Native American, yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. Chicano, Native American, Latin, all that phenotype. They know what I'm talking about.
Did
I've
you just do a
noticed it.
racist?
No, it's not. No, not at all. Trust me, I'm Native American myself. So trust me, I'm.
Okay.
It's a whole nother thing. But listen, this is what I'm saying. I just want to know what is it about Native American characters that they keep writing that they the girl from the What If series in season 3, the Native American girl, she was able to share her powers with people around her.
It was something to do
Um,
with like the spirits of her ancestors and something like that.
yeah, but then this
Did
girl
Echo have the
did it
same
too.
power?
Echo basically did the exact same thing, and
No.
I'm trying to remember because I don't want to misquote. It might not have been Marvel, it might have been DC on this one, but I saw somebody else that was either Latino or Native American, one of those, and they were sharing their powers with people around them that were not powered individuals, and I just wondered, like, what's the kind of like I don't know what that's about, and I just kind of educate me on it. I don't know,
I don't
but
know anything
anyway,
about it
long
either. Yeah.
story short, the girl didn't work out with Kingpin because she didn't like him because of the shit that he had done previously.
Yeah, because he's a criminal.
This, this is
The
right, and
kingpin of
well, she's
crime.
a criminal. She was a criminal too,
She was too.
but
Yeah.
this is what he was talking about with regards to having been shot in the face and blah 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 and putting himself back together. But yeah, he was sitting there eating dinner or breakfast, and I think that was like an egg white omelet. Is Kingpin trying to eat healthy? Because they did make a comment on whether Matt did say something in
Later
the
on in
later
this episode,
conversation
he did. He
about
said
him
your step
losing
is
weight.
lighter. He did. He mentioned it.
Yeah,
Right. Well, I mean, it's we live in an Ozempic world now, man. Everybody's
yeah, I
just
don't know if the
shrinking.
Kingpin gonna take injections though, and I wouldn't be the one that's gonna hand them out.
Well, yeah, I'm not sticking to Kingpin.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no.
so he goes in his closet, the Kingpin, and he brushes past the white coat and then grabs the gray jacket because he's trying to turn over a new leaf. But come
But
on,
also
man.
that scene was meant to parallel the scene before with Matt going to his closet
Yeah.
and went through all
Hmm.
the clothes picked out. It's weird when you say this shit. It jogs my memory, but I swear that Foggy Dine thing just really just kind of took me out of it. But
Well, that's why I
I
was
do
like,
remember what I was watching.
that's why I didn't want to do this last night because I didn't feel like I had a grasp on the episode to be able to have a good discussion about it. That's why I was glad I went back and took some notes. So I got notes in order, so I'll keep us on track. But yeah, if you have anything,
All
just
right.
say it, man.
So
It
yeah,
doesn't matter.
Kingpin is mirroring the previous scene with Matt checking through his closet, which is weird in and of itself. Because like
Well, that's what
I
the
don't want to be ableist, but seriously, what are you doing? But he did pick out a nice outfit though, which was also weird.
well. Listen,
So
Charlie Cox isn't blind. He wants to look nice
maybe
on camera. Anyway, so then we cut to Vanessa basically having a meeting with the 5 families. We got the
in a
tracksuit
sports
mafia in there
facility for
too.
some reason.
So the tracksuit mafia was from the Hawkeye series as well. So,
Yes, Tracksuit Mafia.
but she's looks like she's got everything well under control. She's got it running. She's got the Kingpin's businesses and shit running. You know, uh, like a well-oiled machine.
It looks like she's running Vanessa's business now.
Well, that's what we're going to get to too in a few seconds when we start talking about it because that was not a happy reunion. She was not. She did not appreciate him showing up at that fucking meeting at all. Like there was nothing about that was that said to her that she was like, "Oh my god, my husband's back." It was none of that. She was like, "This motherfucker just walked in here."
Yeah, and undercut my power.
Right.
And
Essentially.
she even made that comment. She was like, I'm doing all this, and you walk in and break up my meeting by just standing there at the door. Like these dudes respect and fear him so much. He didn't even have to come in and say leave or nothing. He just
Right.
walked in and they was like, all right, I'm out, Joe. Time to go.
So he mentions to her that like everything has to be legal, like because obviously for what he's about to do. You know, I think that anybody who's like watching the show and like and jumping in is probably like was looking at the trailers and be like, all right, like even in the trailers they said he was going to run for mayor and shit like that. So there wasn't really a spoiler, but like so at this point they hadn't mentioned it. But you know, he's telling her he wants everything clean because obviously he's going to run for mayor. So I
But
have this
not no no
prediction
no no
here, and
no.
I just but go ahead.
He didn't tell her he wanted everything clean. He told her he was going to separate from her so that he would be clean.
Right.
He was
Well,
saying that basically he didn't want his business intertwined with hers at that
right.
point.
Nothing can be traced back to me. And she said,
Right.
but she looked him in the eye and she said, I've made this business bulletproof. And to me, her saying that meant she was like, I have it. Like everything's fine.
Yeah, we good.
Like
Right.
whatever, like it's all laundered. Whatever we're doing is on the up and up. So, but like, so I have a prediction here that I just got from the look at her face, and it was a thought that I just wrote down here, and says she's gonna try to take him out. Whatever happens, like something, there's gonna be an attempt on his life or somehow, and he's gonna find out that it was her, and that's gonna break him, and that's gonna send him right back into full fucking kingpin mode, dude. Full boss of fucking New York, and he's gonna be the mayor. Like, bruh, like
I think it's
she's
going to
gonna
be his fault though.
sure, but I
I
don't think
think
he
it's going
still
to be
ain't
his
gonna take
fault.
it well.
But we'll get to that part when you get to that
That
part
was
on
just
the
that
note.
was just a like I said. I said she's so irritated that he's back. You could just tell. And then we got to which I thought was a nice touch. BB Urich, Ben Urich's daughter, which I thought was the most tragic death in the Daredevil series, in the original series. I liked his character a lot. He was basically one of the tie-ins to the MCU as a whole. Like we knew it was taking place, or everybody was kind of like questioning it at the time. But when you walked into his apartment for the first time, he had news articles up about the Battle of New York and the Avengers and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
that he was like the tie to that being canon to the MCU.
Mhm.
And I liked his character. I just did. I thought he was I liked, and I didn't. I was upset when he was killed off. But yeah, so his daughter's back, which I thought was cool, and she's a journalist, obviously, because that's how it goes. And you know, in Marvel lore, you pick up your parents' torch for the most part, or
Yeah,
you inherit
that's a
it, want it or not.
real life.
Yeah, it's real life, but like they accentuate it in Marvel. You know, I mean, she's a journalist, but she's a modern day journalist because she's using social media to do it.
No, I was just being silly because none of my kids wanted to be a super dope MC like me. But anyway, that
I mean, like, yeah, my kid has absolutely no interest in what I do here in my my business, my work, sign making or anything like that. Nothing. I can't get him to like bite on it at all to come and like want to work here. But yeah, I'm not
you
gonna.
got to.
If I make him do it, like somebody's making you do something, especially your parent, you're probably not going to do a real good job.
Yeah, you're not gonna have a passion for it. So that's
Right.
for damn.
And that's the thing, right?
What you should have done is when he was younger, you should have just been like every time he came around, you'd be like, "Hey, get away from this! Don't touch none of this. You don't want no parts of this, boy." You come
Well,
in, come in 2 o'clock in the morning, hearing this sneaking posters out like,
right. Running shit, like actually fucking printing
right.
and installing signs.
Like, what the hell you doing, KJ? He'd be like, I got it from you, Dad. But
Right.
anyway, good. Shout out to the 80s.
Right. So then Matt was getting ready for, like during all this, Matt's getting ready for, it looks like the sentencing of Ben Poindexter. And it looks like he carries the Braille, like, funeral card
Mm-hmm.
for Foggy with him. Looks like he's something like a keepsake he keeps with him all the time. So, but then he goes to court, and it's the sentencing day for like I said, for Bullseye. And Matt starts to give his whole spiel and is instantly thrown for a loop when Karen walks in the room. It's like
Yeah,
he can tell who people are by their heartbeats.
and he recognized her smell. I'm going with the
That too,
smell.
the smell too. Okay, yeah, either one works for me.
I just
And
like the Well, I don't want to get too weird, so like I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. So he basically says, you know, what you would say when you're looking at your friend's murderer and saying, you know, no justice can be served here because Foggy ain't here. Period. Like, I don't care what you do. You can give him as many life sentences as you want. It doesn't matter. My friend isn't here. And so they said that he killed. But, you know, I thought it was funny that Matt didn't at all mention any of the other people that died that day.
He didn't
Maybe,
care.
I guess, fair enough. And that's fair enough.
He is, after all, an anti-hero and a devil.
He's the
He
devil
just
of Hell's right?
fiercely loyal to the people he loves, but
He
he's
is
not
right,
like
and
cares
so,
about a
but you
lot
know
of
what?
people out
So it was completely inside of his character for that to be him
there.
not mentioning
Hmm.
it. But they mentioned that 11 people died that day. He killed 11 people in that stint. He is sentenced to 11 life sentences, but I don't think he's not going to remain in prison, right? There's going to be
No, I
there's going to be some sort of
think
breakout. He probably
he's gonna be too useful.
just
Somebody might get him out of there to
right.
maybe exact revenge on said kingpin or somebody else later on down the line.
So then afterwards, Matt and Karen kind of meet in the hallway, and man, like, did you get the vibe that she just didn't want anything to do with him?
Well, yeah, she was a little standoffish. He was trying to rekindle the old conversations, but she basically said in that exchange, she let it be known that she tried to like be there with him after Foggy died, but he was kind of aloof and he was in his own bubble trying to like heal himself at that time,
So
and he was ignoring her, so she moved on with her life.
right there you go. So he wasn't there for her, like she was trying to be there for him or whatever.
Hmm.
So I could get how her heart would be broken in that regard. Do you think she blames him?
Nah, I don't really get that. I don't
I
see
didn't
it.
get that either. I was wondering the same thing if anybody else felt that. I felt like it was something else that was bothering her. It wasn't like she was blaming him for being Daredevil and that's what got Foggy killed. They all knew what the fuck they were getting into. They knew Matt was Daredevil. It wasn't like a secret or they found out afterwards. They were in the understanding that you know shit like this could possibly happen. So I don't think that was part
I
of
just,
her anger or
yeah,
her why she was so upset with him.
yeah, like company and production company wise, I can see. Okay, yeah, they had to write them out of the show because they want to move in a different direction. But it's more on that later because I actually saw an interview with the showrunners and somebody said something to the effect of Karen and Foggy will be in the next season, which I don't know. But yeah, it's just weird. So, but what I did think, like as far as the story goes, I feel like the only way she could look at it like it was Matt's fault is that when they all offered to go together, they all could have went together. I don't know what that would have done, with regards to Bullseye
When
trying to
he made
kill.
him stay there. Like I
When
guess
we're
Bullseye couldn't have known that was gonna happen.
Yeah, you can't know, but still, when people die, I've seen some irrational thoughts. When people
Sure.
dealing with group
Yeah.
rationality doesn't
Is not
necessarily
part
have
of the
to.
the thought
Yeah,
process
they're
usually.
not
You're
thinking about
you're right.
that.
So
They're
during this
trying to beat
conversation,
somebody.
she asks him what he's gonna do about Daredevil, and he says that he said I promised myself I would let the system handle it, all of it. Meaning like I'm done with it. I'm not doing that anymore.
Right. And she even said, "Yeah, what about the people in the city that need you and blah blah blah."
Okay, so I guess that takes out the blame because she still wants him to be Daredevil, seemingly.
Yeah, she probably wanted him to be Daredevil in the time that she was trying to reach out to him.
Right.
You can infer that from that. And he was just like, "I'm mad and I'm sad and I'm gonna stay in the house and be blind and sad or whatever."
And
And
angrily
she was
cook,
like, "Right." And I'm like,
angrily chop
"Right."
vegetables.
And so she was like, "Look, man, I got to get on out of here and I'm gonna go to what was it, San Francisco?" As
Yeah,
one tends to do, people usually move to the exact other coast
to,
for
co- to get as
years.
far away from trauma or tragedy as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But San
She
Francisco
could
is an
have.
interesting city too because that's where like There's more superhero shit in San Francisco.
Yeah, I believe Venom
The
or
Young
somebody like it.
Avengers and shit. Yeah, Venom was out there. But so while he's cooking, he hears the obviously someone when a neighbor's TV goes off. So is this motherfucker is just like always listening to everything, and then something catches his attention and he can just like tune it in. That's a cool ass ability, like you said earlier, to be able to just listen to some shit 6 blocks
Hmm.
away. You know, so he hears Fisk announce his candidacy for mayor. Again, you said you didn't remember the old show, but I could have swore he ran for something political in the old show. I don't know if it was
He may
mayor,
have. He
but
may have
I
run.
want to say there was something there, or he
I think
was.
I remember a storyline from the old show where he was running for mayor. But yeah,
Yeah,
he won this time. Well,
yeah,
spoiler, but yeah, he successfully ran in this storyline. The thing about it though, we get Matt questioning whether or not this is a good or a bad thing, and he's doing it the way they. Again, like I said, I love when they show you. He's questioning whether or not this is a good or bad thing by checking the temperature of people on the street. He's just walking around listening to random
listening
conversations.
to yeah,
Some
that was
some people
cool.
talking about Kingpin like decapitating a guy with a car door. Some people talking about they like him because he gets stuff done.
Get
Some
shit
people,
done.
just there's some favorable sentiments and then there's some unfavorable sentiments. But either way, he's looking at it like, well, this is kind of what the people are choosing. So be it. But
Well, he
eventually, he
even
has
says it. He has a line for that later on.
what was the line? I can't.
Oh, he said if they if they vote for him, if they elect him, then the New York City gets the mayor that it deserves.
Maybe yeah, maybe they get the bail they deserve. Yeah, that's
Right.
right. But yeah, no, but
But
he
Fisk,
was checking the
go
temperature,
ahead.
and I think he was checking his place in this whole thing based on what the people want. Because it's like, okay, fine, if this what y'all want, I'll leave it at that. But then I like that they had to. He still had to. I need to go and have a conversation with this dude. I need to go and check the
Yeah.
sincerity
Right.
and
Right.
see what's going on with him. And then we get the obligatory um Al Pacino slash Robert De Niro across the table from each other,
Yeah, you're skipping to the
two
end. Yeah,
powers
towards the
sitting
end.
down,
Yeah.
having a meal, talking to each other type situation. I like those type of scenes, and I think this one was pretty cool.
Yeah, they did a good job with it. So like so they gave him the Trump style hat with the Fisk and fix it. That was
Hmm.
interesting. The little brown nosing motherfucker. Yeah,
Dude working on his campaign.
right. It's so I think that dude could be the Banksy artist serial killer guy. That's just a shot in the dark guess. No other reason other than I don't like his face.
I, well, you know what I was thinking of him? I was
Good.
thinking he was working for Christine. Well, yeah, I think what's her name? Not Christine. Vanessa. Sorry, too many similar names.
Oh, it could be part of the
Felt like he
tracksuit
was kind of.
mafia or
Yeah, I
something
felt
like
like he
that.
was kind of. That's why he's a
There you
little
go. That's a good
overzealous
one.
on his praise and stuff. I felt like he might just be a plant in his campaign
Okay.
from Vanessa to kind of keep an eye on what's going on.
So that could be the thing
But
that he finds out
I am
that
I will say I'm worried about the his campaign chair lady, the woman that's running his campaign. She
yeah,
doesn't seem to be afraid to speak truth to power. She doesn't seem to be afraid to tell him what he needs to hear in a moment, and that's cool for the campaign, and that's cool for helping him, acclimate to running it, being in office and things like that. But eventually, when he goes off the edge, which he will do, or else it'll be a boring ass show. Nobody want to see Kingpin actually like doing day to day work.
right, yeah.
So,
Like we the mayor's office for 8 episodes in a row.
right, it's like he's sitting in there taking town hall
No,
meeting questions
somebody
and shit.
better
Like,
get
no,
thrown out
yeah.
the window of the mayor's office. Like,
Yeah,
let's
so when
right.
he eventually goes over the edge, I feel like she gonna be right there. I think the show is red herringing us by putting that goofy dude that I said might be working for Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
Like he seems like the obvious target. Like when Kingpin flips out in office, it's obvious you grab the goofy dude that's your super fan. But I feel like the way the character work, because she keeps telling him things that he might not necessarily want to hear, she might be a target.
And right now he's laughing it off and being quite kind to her. But yeah, I can
Yeah,
see where you're coming from. I can see
yeah.
where you're coming from on that.
He's allowing it. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I see,
Yes.
I see what you're saying. I
Right.
got you. Okay, okay.
Even though there is definitely going to be nefarious purposes for all of this revealed later, yeah, I feel like there's part of him that wants somewhere in him that wants to do it right. There's part of
I
him that
don't.
wants to listen to her, and that part of him is like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't see him. I don't see him having ill intent towards the city of New York. I don't
No,
see him having ill
no.
intent towards the constituents. I don't see
Which
Kingpin
she is
as
one
far as
of.
the characters. Even from the old Netflix show, they never really showed it. Like the shit that he did that was bad was to people of the criminal element. They never really showed him like have like this thing where he was out trying to victimize the public. You know what I mean? So it was never a thing where you felt like the Kingpin actually didn't care about the city. I feel like he does, so he might want
Yeah.
to do it right.
Well, in the comic books, from what I understand, in one of the comic runs, that like all this horrible, like huge world-ending superhero shit is happening, and like the only person that was there for the regular people of New York City was Wilson Fisk, and that's why he gets elected mayor in the comic books, is because of that
Mm-hmm.
very reason. He like set up sanctuaries and was like, keeping people underground or hiding. It was like some like mutant takeover shit. I can't remember exactly what storyline it was, but it was things weren't good for humans and the people of New York City, and he was the only one that was there for him. So yeah, that's innate to his character that he does love
Right.
and care for the city of New York.
Yeah,
He
like I
doesn't.
said, he only hurt people that was in the crime,
Right.
like in the areas of doing crime and things
Yeah.
like that. He
He's
wasn't
not
like
into
out there
harming innocent
in
people, really. No, that's not the
mm,
Kingpin's MO. But anyway, so moving on, the Kirsten, she had told Matt earlier to go meet up with a potential client or whatever, and it was a blind date set up, a blind date, an actual blind date happened in the show. It did, but anyway, he meets this chick, and they kind of like they're mad at Kirsten, but they do kind of hit it off. So she ends up kind of being right.
He's a good matchmaker.
Right. We find out that Cherry is now, since he's retired, he's now Matt's PI, because he found out at the end of that shit at the beginning that Matt was Daredevil. He ended up finding
Yeah,
that out.
he was. Yeah, we forgot to mention that he did come up on the roof
He
right
did come
when
up on
Matt
the
took the mask off.
right and was just full of knives, just like a porcupine, like fucking knives sticking out of him.
So like, how? Okay, so
So he had him looking into Fisk as mayor. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
we we can yada yada over this. We don't really have to go into it. Well, it is one of those things where I kind of, in the original series, they had his nurse friend who would doctor him like privately in her apartment. My longtime girlfriend Rosario Dawson.
Right.
Um,
It's not creepy or anything.
I would have loved to have seen, even though it would have probably taken the air out of the scene, like we supposed to be dealing with the death of Foggy and everything. It's not like they dwelled on it for a long time either. So I think they could have afforded to show me how he dealt with all of those stab wounds. Like, did he go to the doctor? Did they take the time to take the Daredevil suit off? Did he,
Well,
what I'm saying?
right. Well, I think
What's
that he used
happening
to
there?
deal with a lot of his own wounds, and I think that like part of his maybe abilities, not like healing like Wolverine style, but maybe he can focus parts of his body to heal faster. I don't know. He was also wearing the Daredevil suit, which is, you know, stab and bullet resistant. So the knives weren't going like all the way in, so they're probably just surface wounds. But yeah, like they would have needed to be treated by a doctor, I would imagine. And like, dude, like I don't
No,
know why, but I like, and I don't want you to get mad at me for this, but like, I totally forgot about Rosario Dawson. She was in all of them shows. She was patching everybody up. She was patching Luke Cage up. She was patching. Well, he didn't need patching up, but she was, you know what I'm saying. She was always the one taking care of somebody in those shows. So I guess it would have been nice, even with her affiliation with Disney through like Ahsoka, would have been nice to see her back. And we don't. Hey, listen, we've only seen 2 episodes, so that's still a possibility. It would be a nice surprise for her to pop up in the show.
okay, so Daredevil doesn't have a healing factor at all. I wish I would have known. I mean, I should have known that, but yeah, it
Okay.
is what it is.
So then, yeah, he patched himself up then. Like, really the only explanation for it. He used to do this shit in the old show. He used to patch himself up.
He probably just sat there sadly showing himself up while he
Right.
ignoring calls from Karen.
He wasn't in.
So
Yeah, she was ignoring his calls
no,
afterwards
he was ignoring her.
at first, but then when
And
she moved, he's like, "I've tried to call. I tried this." And she was like, "Yeah,
yeah, it was too late. She
bro,
moved out of San Francisco
that
and met a
line,
dude like me.
yeah, right."
A dude like me would never live in San Francisco, so scratch that. She probably just went out there and started working with Topaz or something. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So like then we get a little speech from Fisk, get basically just like a just some campaigning shit basically, and he's basically talking about they don't need vigilantes. For some reason, I have the word vignettes written in my fucking notes.
Let's see. The thing about that was 2 things. One quick correction, because one thing you folks will find is we like to be accurate. So
Okay.
if we don't know something, we will say we don't know it. We will look it up on the spot. But I did just read Matt does have a meditation technique that speeds up his healing. So he doesn't necessarily have a healing factor like Wolverine or somebody like that,
Right.
but he
It's kind of what
does
I was
have
saying. Yeah.
uh, mystical techniques to aid in his healing. But Kingpin, when he told Matt that one of the first things that's going to be on his docket is to outlaw vigilantes. We don't need like the what do you say the guys in spider suit. We
We
don't
don't
need
need
the
the
guy
guy with the
running around
skull.
with a giant skull on his chest.
We don't need
What
the
I felt
Spider
like
Man,
is
and we don't need somebody in devil horns.
what I felt like is even though he was calling out Spider-Man and Daredevil, I mean Spider-Man and Punisher, I felt like that was for the audience, but in the scene, I felt like that was him telling Matt, "I'm coming after you specifically. I'm letting you know right here." Because to me,
Yeah.
like I said, that scene mirrors the whole
Right.
supposed
So I.
conversation that Al Pacino and Robert De Niro was having. They
It
was like,
was
say for
very
instance,
reminiscent of Heat. Yeah.
right? You have a guy who's you got to leave your girl and all that. They was doing all this. I'm letting you know if it come
So
down to me and you, it's gonna be
yeah.
me over you. And that's what Kingpin was saying. Like, all right, look, man, I'm coming after you. I'm gonna make sure the city is after you. I'm gonna make sure you can no longer operate in this city because I'm still holding a grudge. And Matt was like, as long as that's what you're doing, I don't care because I ain't in that life. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he
Right.
was
I was
like,
say
I'm
yeah.
going to right.
I got a bunch of notes on that conversation.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
fire away.
No, that I liked how they just like he came out of that restaurant or wherever he was coming out of, and Matt was just standing there. He was like, "Oh shit, long time no see." So then he comments on the weight loss. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just fishing through the notes here. I'll skip past anything we've already kind of talked about. They're both not in Hell's Kitchen anymore. They're both somewhere else. They don't. Neither one of them live there anymore. So in the here, like you were saying, but they're both sitting there telling each other that they have left their old lives behind. They're both sitting there telling each other like Kingpin's like, yeah, I'm not doing a crime no more, and he's like, yeah, you're not doing the vigilante thing anymore. But they're both being intellectually dishonest because they're both
Yeah,
driven by those respective sides of themselves.
yeah,
They're both. It's they're the fucking Wilson Fisk is the alter ego. Matt is the alter ego. the ego is Daredevil. The ego is Kingpin. They are the, you know, like those are the characters. The masks are the alter egos. Are Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock. So you
I
know,
want to say,
go ahead.
I, right on that note
Go ahead.
of the alter ego being the actual person, I just want to give a rare Batman W to Batman. I was looking at a comic and there was a scene in there
Rare
where
Batman
one
W.
there's a rare Batman W. I hate the character to the core of my existence, but this one I couldn't lie. It was awesome. So Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman all holding on to the lasso of truth. And Wonder Woman says, "I am Diana of Themyscira." Superman says, "I'm Kal-El from Krypton," and Batman was like, "I'm Batman." And they just both, they fucking looked at him, bro. They was like, "The fuck?" Like,
Right.
it's like,
Because
"No,
it's the
bitch,
same
I'm
go.
Batman."
Right. Because, yeah, Bruce
Like,
Wayne is the mask. I'm fucking
like
Batman.
Bruce Wayne,
Right.
Bruce Wayne is my day job. I pretend to be Bruce Wayne. I have to clock in to be Bruce Wayne. I'm Batman, motherfucker. Like, that's crazy. But
So they,
anyway, yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
Wilson
yeah.
Fisk.
They both threaten each other. If you get out of line, I'm coming after you. And he's like, yeah, if you do the vigilante thing, I'm coming after you. You just said all that. So yeah, like basically,
I thought that was dope. And I shout out. Look, just like we
yeah.
have to show respect because a lot of people not being judgmental to how people enjoy their content, but I like the dialogue almost as much, if not more, than action in movies.
Dude, it makes the
So
action mean more.
yeah, it gives meaning to the action,
Absolutely.
and it also helps with raising the stakes because realistically, if we don't see these people in conversations, we don't really care if something happens to their character. If I don't know
How,
nothing about you, and the best way to know something about a character is through the dialogue
right.
exchanges. So in this scene, I want to shout out to them. This was a dope scene. Yes, it was paying homage to earlier movies and TV shows and stuff, but still, it was well executed. It was shot well. I enjoyed everything about it. They didn't break the tension by having a, because it's a lot of things you can mess this scene up. You can have a
Yeah.
waitress come over and sit something down. You can
Yep.
have, you know, what I'm saying?
They
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 broke the scene one time, and it was important for the scene when the guy knocked
knocked
on
on
the
the window.
window.
Yep.
He pays attention to let him know he love him and support him. This is important for the scene because Matt is still grappling with the idea of whether or not I have to be Daredevil for this guy.
Yeah.
But the people supporting him. They love him. You see what I'm saying? So it's like he's confronted with that right there in a moment. While I'm sitting here vaguely threatening this guy, he has people walking up to
Right.
him, recognizing and showing him love. So yeah, I thought this was dope, man. This was a dope ass scene. I loved it.
Well, and going back to what you were mentioning earlier about how Matt was like feeling out the city and listening to the different conversations, like a lot of
Mhm.
people forget that like you only have to have like what 51% to win, basically 50
50.01.
point whatever it is. You only have to have that little over half to win. So that means
Right.
that only half the people really love you. The other half probably don't. So, but I'm curious to see how they approach that because I don't think it's just unanimous, but it might turn into to it like he might do some good shit where it does turn out well for him, and like
Yeah, you can
the whole
always win
city's gonna love
people.
him. I said Fisk obviously wins. He is now mayor of the New York City in the MCU, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, no, it's dope as hell. And
Yeah,
yeah, so he could definitely win some folks over. I think that would be an interesting take on it, especially if the city starts supporting him and the city starts seeing Daredevil as Daredevil. Like he's the pariah. We don't want mask heroes. We don't
no,
want, people on the
right,
street fighting crime. And if Daredevil is true to his word, which he's gonna be, he's gonna have to fight the crime that Kingpin is doing under the veil of being a mayor. But the city don't see that. The city just see you out here doing some shit, and we don't
right,
support that no more. So now
no,
there's no order. Nobody cares for you. There's nowhere to hide. There's nobody. You already lost Foggy. Vanessa, not Vanessa.
right,
Karen is going to San Fran. You won't have the support of anybody. That puts him in a
no.
desperate situation. I'm not writing this for them, but if they go in that direction, that could make for some really good television.
Either that or an example gets made out of the new guy that we get in episode 2, Hector. but we'll get there. You see during the party Vanessa just giving him that gangster ass look, like, yeah, motherfucker, you get what you want right now, but this ain't all gonna work out for you. So
See,
she hates this. She hates it.
my problem with her is I don't like her as a character. I didn't like her as a character in the first series. To be honest
she was
with
okay.
You. She was. I don't want to say
Just to see the
milquetoast,
kingpin like simping over her is kind of.
It was weird, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like there was nothing. There
He's
was
still
no
simping.
layers to it. Now, to be fair, this time they are trying to add some layers
Yes,
to it.
they
She's the crime boss and all this other shit. And now
also a cheater.
yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I don't know where you
it.
are in your notes, but
Yeah, I'm right there. Go for it.
Has decided to let him know that she found comfort in the arms of another man, and he already knew it basically because he said, "I knew I'm not still mad about it or whatever. I'm not even mad still." But she knows him, and she says, "Don't kill him. Like seriously, don't kill him."
Promise me.
Now, when she said that to me, I thought, okay, well, this is how we move that story forward. He's definitely gonna kill this guy now. I don't know why,
I think he's
but
going to try to not do it, but something's going to set him off where he has to, or he does it.
Yeah,
he's going to point to her or something like that. Yeah. So then you cut to like a good little like it's a montage. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Kind of cutting back and forth between the kingpin standing over his newly won city. He's kind of standing on a building top, looking over the city, and Daredevil's down street level, walking down with everybody, all the other commoners, while they're celebrating the victory. And there's like a red light flashing in his face. That's like turning his face red, and he's looking up at the same time Fisk is looking down. It's just a really cool man, why can't I think of a good word to describe it? The way they're juxtaposition, looking at each other. They're not though, but they kind of are. And
it felt like
just all him
Homelander
wrestling. It's just still him wrestling with that, what you've been talking about. Him, do I need to be Daredevil now? Do I have to bust this back out? I don't want to. Matt has never wanted to do this. He hates that part of himself that likes this violence. But he does. There's a part of him that fucking enjoys beating the fucking dog shit out of people.
Yeah, Matt has a love-hate relationship with what he does, and that's based in his Catholic roots.
Sure it is.
That's why it's important to always ground him in his religion, which I'm surprised. They did show the church in the background with the first Daredevil scene, but I'm surprised that at no point did they show him seeking counsel from a pastor or a priest or anything.
Well,
in these first 2 episodes, especially after the death of Foggy, he wound up not doing that, and that was just weird to me.
Well, here I just have an interesting kind of on the spot thought about that. He basically was the reason that priest got killed. His old buddy, the priest that was there in the season that was there, he would always go to for confession and talk to and this like that. That guy got killed by Bullseye dressed as Daredevil. So like he feels like that's definitely his fault, and maybe he feels like he's not worthy, like he can't set foot in the church. He still relies on his faith and is still, a believer, but feels like he ain't worthy to set foot in the church because of that happening to that priest. Basically, because of him. It was because of him. All that Daredevil shit and all that Bullseye shit went down. It was because of him. But yeah, so we get the Banksy painting by the villain that we're gonna see pop up later, and that was pretty much the end of the episode. Was the red light blinking on Matt's face, and so it was a good start. That was a good episode, and yeah, we talked for an hour about that one episode. So do you want to stop and start a new one, or do you want to do another one, or just go through and?
No, we can keep going, and you can split them. Look, here's the split. We back.
Well, I have to. Yeah, I'll stop it and start.